There was a time when the pub wasn't just somewhere you went for a quick drink. It was the center of the street, the village, the whole community. The air was thick with smoke, the carpet was sticky, and half the people at the bar had been going there for decades. If you remember that world, this one's for you. In this video, we're looking at 15 things you'll almost never see in a British pub again, from rituals and rules to smells and sounds that defined a whole era. Let's start with number 15. 15. A cloud of cigarette smoke walk into a pub in the 70s or 80s, and the first thing that hit you wasn't the sight of the bar. It was the smell. Cigarette smoke so thick you could almost chew it. Every table had an ashtray. People smoked at the bar, over food, over darts, over everything. Your clothes and hair stank for days afterwards. Today, smoking inside is completely banned, and pubs are cleaner, brighter spaces. But for many people, that blue haze is one of the most vivid memories of the old pub. 14. A landlord who knew everyone by name. Old school pubs weren't run by managers on rotation. They were run by landlords and landladies who owned the place, in every sense. They lived upstairs, worked downstairs, and knew every regular by first name, favorite drink, and usual seat. If you didn't turn up on your usual night, they noticed, they could tell when you'd had enough, long before you could. That kind of personal, almost parental presence has largely disappeared as chains and management contracts have taken over. 13. The regulars table. No one else dared sit at every proper pub had it. A specific table, often near the bar, that technically was for everyone, but in reality belonged to the regulars. Retired blokes, local characters, the same faces every night. If you were new and accidentally sat there, you'd feel the stares. No one said anything, but you moved. It was unofficial assigned seating, enforced purely by tradition and atmosphere. 12. Thick, dimpled pint glasses with handles. Before the modern straight-sided glass became standard, beer often came in heavy, dimpled pint mugs with a chunky handle. They felt solid, almost indestructible, and the beer looked somehow more proper inside them. Over time, they were replaced by lighter, cheaper glassware that's easier to stack and wash. You still see them occasionally, but that satisfying heft in the hand is mostly a thing of the past. 11. The bell for last orders. Last orders, please. Followed by the clang of a brass bell. It was a ritual. The sound that told you to finish your pint, get one more in, or call it a night. Some landlords rang it with a sense of theater, others with weary resignation. With changes to licensing laws and more flexible hours, the strict 11 p.m. cutoff has faded, and with it, the drama of that final bell. 10. Lock-ins after hours. Officially, when the doors were shut, the night was over. Unofficially, that wasn't always true. If you were a trusted regular, sometimes you'd be invited to stay behind after closing for a lock-in, doors locked, curtains drawn, and a few more quiet drinks. It felt slightly illicit, like being in on a secret. Stricter enforcement of licensing laws and CCTV everywhere have made that far rarer today. 9. Dart leagues and domino nights. Pubs used to be the unofficial sports halls of Britain. Dart teams and domino leagues were serious business. The notice board behind the bar was full of fixtures and league tables. Whole evenings were built around matches between local pubs. While some places still keep the tradition alive, fruit machines and screens showing football have replaced much of that quiet, intense competition over a pint. 8. A tray of pickled eggs on the bar. Before gastropubs and artisan burgers, pub food was simple and slightly terrifying. A jar of pickled eggs, a pot of cockles, maybe some pickled onions, or a tray of pork scratchings in a glass jar. You'd slam your coin on the counter, and the landlord would fish something out with a fork. Today, health and safety rules, changing tastes, and proper kitchens have pushed those old bar-top snacks into the history books. 7. The sticky patterned carpet. If you grew up in 70s or 80s pubs, you can see it. Loud, busy patterns in reds and browns, designed to hide any stain, and always just slightly sticky underfoot. Carpets soaked up smoke, beer, and decades of stories. Modern pubs favor wooden floors, tiles, and clean lines. More hygienic, definitely. But that soft, slightly dubious carpet under your shoes was part of the old pub atmosphere. 6. Kids in the back room with a bottle of pop and a packet of crisps. In many families, Sunday meant going to the pub. Kids weren't really welcome in the main bar, So they'd be parked in the lounge or back room with a bottle of lemonade and a packet of crisps, told to be quiet while the adults talked. There were no playgrounds, no kids' menus, no screens. You made your own entertainment. Today's family-friendly pubs are a very different world. 5. Cash only at the bar. For most of the 20th century, going to the pub meant making sure you had enough notes and coins in your pocket. The sound of change in the till and coins on the bar was part of the soundtrack. Tabs were kept in the landlord's head or in pencil on a beer mat. Now, card machines and phone payments dominate. Convenient, yes. But that feeling of counting out your last few coins for just one more is fading fast. 4. The fruit machine is the loudest thing in the room before wall-to-wall television screens. The noisiest thing in the pub was often the fruit machine in the corner. The flashing lights, the clunk of coins, the occasional siren when someone won big. People would nurse a pint while feeding in 10-pence pieces, convinced they'd got the feel of it. Today, machines are quieter, regulated, and often hidden away, and the noise of live sport usually drowns everything else out. 3. Pub sing-songs around the piano. Not every pub had one, but the ones that did are impossible to forget. A battered upright piano in the corner, and after a few pints, someone would sit down and start playing. Old music hall songs, war songs, pop hits of the day, the whole bar would join in. It wasn't karaoke, it wasn't scheduled entertainment, it just happened. Those spontaneous, slightly off-key sing-songs are incredibly rare now. 2. Tiny front rooms that felt like someone's house. Many old pubs were basically converted houses, and they still felt that way. Low ceilings, small rooms, an open fire, and the feeling that you were in someone's front parlor rather than a licensed premises. You'd squeeze past people to get to the bar. Modern refits have knocked through walls, opened up spaces, and standardized layouts. More comfortable for many, but that cozy, slightly cramped intimacy is gone. 1. A pub where everyone knew each other. The biggest thing that's disappearing isn't an object, it's a feeling. The feeling that when you walked into your local, you'd recognize almost every face. You knew who sat where, who drank what, who would be at the end of the bar on a Tuesday night. Modern life, commuting, chain pubs, and smartphones have all chipped away at that sense of community. Some locals still have it, but for many people, the proper pub they remember now only lives in memory. Old pubs weren't perfect. They could be smoky, cliquey, intimidating if you didn't know the rules. But they were also places of friendship, routine, and comfort. Second homes for millions of people. Which of these pub memories hit you the hardest? Was it the smoke, the carpet, the landlord, or something else entirely? Share your story in the comments, and if you'd like more trips back into the Britain we grew up in, don't forget to subscribe. Your memories are what keep this place alive.